So hello everybody. This one's going to be a short one today. I want to focus on sort of three things. First of all, now never more than never before have brands really mattered, and a recent survey suggests that over 38% of us want to actually hear from employees that work for companies. We believe what they're saying. 31% want to hear from the chief exec, and only 4 and 5% want to hear from celebrities and influencers. So I know we're all fed up with that word authentic, but the people that people trust at the moment are people that work for organisations. They kind of say it how it is really, and their customers. And the CEOs need to get out there and kind of speak from the heart now. I'm pleased to read today the Times did a great supplement on managing risk, and the 4 roles that seem to be ones destined for the top of the list post COVID-19 are head of communications, head of insights and analytics, head of culture and well-being, and head of customer experience. So I have to say, here at F1, those are all pockets of excellence for us. Let's hope this does come to pass, but those are the roles that seem to be the most popular ones and the top of the list for the fight back and the comeback, which is good news. My other message really is that small is beautiful. I've worked through 4 or 5 recessions, nothing like this before. This has hit the job market in a way that I have just never experienced worse, I think, than anything for 22 years. But small businesses always do well in downturns. You'll have heard about startups that are carrying on their plans even in the current climate. We've worked with many startups and many small businesses through downturns, and they've always basically had the pick of the talent. And in the current market now, there's probably 3 times more talent already than there was available back in March. So for smaller organisations that are wanting to grow, that can make investment hires over the summer when the bigger organisations are going through their redundancy programmes, and they will have massive hiring freezes on, now is the time to strike to invest in really fantastic talent. And over the years, we've been going for 16 years now, I just want to remind myself actually, and say thank you to the companies that we helped during our very early days, many of which were pretty small organisations actually, but they just saw the opportunity to work with a consultancy that saw talent, and that was able to very, very quickly work out which people would fit into their organisations from a values perspective as well as a skills perspective, and people that would stay with them through the tough times of early growth. And some of those companies you will recognise, but Gorkana, we worked with Alex Northcote right from the very first day when he set up, helping him with his graduates, many who've gone on to have amazing careers in the comms industry. Alex, of course, has now sold his business. That was Gorkana. Powerscourt with Rory Godson and Victoria Palmer Moore was our very first placing with him back in 2004 when they were a very, very new company. I know they're now in the top 10 financial PR consultancies. Netflix, we helped them when they very first came to this country. We beat a couple of our really big competitors to pitch against for their work, and hired them 3 people for their comms team. They subsequently pulled out of the UK market for a number of years, but I mean, look where Netflix is now. Stripe Communications, we worked with them when they set up their office in London, and that office is now doing unbelievably well. Benchmark Sport, we worked with Nick Keller way years back when he very first set up. Once again, I can remember sitting on packing cases trying to work out about their sports industry awards, and look how amazingly successful they are now, some 15-20 years probably later. Pretty Green, Frank, Shine, I'm having to look at a list to remind myself of all of them. One Green Bean, Revolution Sport, Performance PR. We helped Ocado when they were fledgling business. Two Circles, Matt Rogan, when he very first set up, I can remember the phone call very late one night saying, "Help! I've been let down by by somebody that we know, and we need some contract help. Can you help me?" And it was that one ability to be able to help a small company. And we had a long-term relationship with them. Many of their staff have now worked through the ranks there, and a couple are even directors of the business. And of course, Two Circles is now part of WPP. Harvard PR, Louis, when he was doing his resurgence way back, and look how successful they are now as part of Chime Group. Bright partnerships that came out of Experience Worldwide, sports marketing. Clifford French, Dan and James when they first set up, now part of IMG Endeavour. And that's to name but a few. And all of those organisations, they were scrappy, they were small, they were entrepreneurial, they moved fast, they could pivot. They needed great talent, and people joined their organisations because they were less bureaucratic, they were more dynamic. Employees had much more accessibility to the top decision makers. Every single pitch really meant something, and if you won it, it was an amazing cause for celebration. And I think they saw that their careers could really take off there. So I think we're about to go through a period where really small is beautiful. And judging by the candidates that we're seeing at the moment who are simply saying, I want to go somewhere where I count. I want to go somewhere where, I can really invest myself. I can really be part of a growth scenario. I want to give 100%. It's not all about the money. They recognise that they're not going to get a salary rise at the moment for moving. And we've been through 10 years where people just assume they're going to get 20% pay rise just for moving jobs. And we're just not going to be going through that cycle at the moment. People will actually move roles because they want to feel invested in by their employers. They want to see strong leadership, resolute leadership, and robust leadership. But they're going to join organisations because largely they buy in to what the journey that organisation is going to go through in the next 2 years. And all of us know it's going to be really tough for the next couple of years. As the country gets itself back on its feet, but exciting. And I think everybody's up for a bit of excitement and a journey, and to really give themselves at the moment. So I think the next 2 months are going to be really interesting to see how the market responds to this. But my hunch is that small is going to do well. So I'll come back in a few weeks' time. Okay, bye.